Hi, we are SGExams. I'm Ethan, the president, and with me is Wesley, our head of education and career guidance. SGExams started in 2017 as a collective of online student communities where students could just meet to discuss life in general as well as seek support if they needed it. And in 2019, we developed into a non-profit organization that supports students in four main areas: academics, ECG or education and career guidance, holistic development, and mental health. And we're here at YAC specifically to solve a problem we noticed in the jobs and mentoring field. Meet Ming. Ming is a recent secondary school graduate, and he has many big thoughts on his mind, having just finished O-levels. He wants to get a job, go to a good uni, maybe start a family. But these thoughts quickly dissipate because, after all, he's only 16. No one told him to plan for his future at this stage. So he goes on to pre-university education, and he finds out that in between studies, CCAs, and tuition, he doesn't have time to plan for the future. He's unsure where to get help with ECG outside of school. And the ECG programs that he is aware of are too impersonal, narrow, and one-sided to be of any use to him. More time passes, and Ming graduates again. And this time, he has to apply for university. He realizes that with deadlines quickly approaching, he has no idea what he's interested in, let alone what course or career he wants to target. Ming is stuck. And he's not alone. Many students that we've interviewed echo the same sentiment of not being able to plan for their future. The same is evident in the students that we've surveyed. Many face challenges in planning for the future. Some even regret the pathways that they ended up taking. And more importantly, most of them are interested to seek help through ECG programs. And the same sentiment is echoed as well time and again on our online communities, especially during application season. That's where we come in. We want to help students define their academic and career goals and subsequently enable them to navigate ECG and mentorship opportunities. And in order to do this, we developed the Ecg Pathfinding Program. The program comprises two parts. Firstly, a mentorship program, and secondly, what we're calling community campus programs. The mentorship program itself happens in two phases. In the first phase, mentees are paired up with one mentor to help them determine their academic and career goals. And in the second phase, they're linked up with other mentors who can help them work towards those goals once they've actually determined them. Our community campus programs are then a set of community programs that aim to raise awareness about ECG on a wider scale to a larger audience. So we believe that we are well positioned to drive impact in this sphere for three reasons. Firstly, we leverage on our large community to encourage multi-directional rather than one-way interaction. Secondly, our program bridges both education and career guidance. And thirdly, we use our wide network of partners to collaborate with the scene rather than compete by directing our mentees to other organizations. Therefore, we believe that we are uniquely positioned in the ECG field and have a good chance of complementing other programs that already exist. So we are currently piloting the first round of our program. We've kept the group small so that we can work more closely with them. And so far, we've received pretty good qualitative and quantitative feedback. And on top of that, we've also amassed a large partnership network. And now Wesley will be running you through our future plans.
Hi everyone. SGExams is sustainable both in terms of our finances as well as in terms of manpower. Financially, our main sources of revenue include sponsorships and advertisements. We intend to partner with organizations that are aligned with our values in providing more ECG information to our community. In terms of manpower, we hold our annual recruitment exercise, which have received 50 to 100 signups on average. We anticipate high growth for the Ecg Pathfinding Program. In our pilot run in Jan 22, we oversaw 20 mentor and mentee pairs. We seek to extend this to 170 to 200 plus pairs by June 23. In addition, we intend to establish formal mentor training and organize physical networking events, as well as the implementation of a central web platform. Complementing the growth of our Ecg Pathfinding Program is the growth of SGExams as an organization. Firstly, we intend to establish a board of advisors. Secondly, we intend to accelerate outreach efforts. And thirdly, we intend to create a non-profit collective to strengthen SGExams network. Our web platform, as mentioned earlier, is currently being prototyped. This platform will really help us to streamline our efforts, therefore enabling us to reach out to even more mentees. Your funding will help us realize our long-term plan for the Ecg Pathfinding Program. We intend to invest in four main areas. Firstly, professional services, which include web platform development. Secondly, manpower, which includes the training and development of mentors and mentees. Thirdly, technology solutions, which include software solutions such as Zoom and Adobe. Fourthly, outreach to schools, as well as social media marketing. We are composed of a multi-talented team with varied skill sets. Apart from the 5 of us, we represent a 70-plus strong committee. We are SGExams, Singapore's largest online student community, and we would like to enable all youths to have full and unfettered access to ECG. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, SGExams. Would the rest of the team want to join in front for the question?
Maybe I'll go first. Hello, SGExams. I know you are very famous. I've heard you many times. Okay, so I thought interesting that you are starting your first mentorship program. I'm just curious what kind of mentors you're looking for.
Okay, so our first program, we are targeting specifically in business because we felt that given our current connections, we will be able to find the most number of mentors. So our mentors, we take it from universities, but actually we open it up to applications from our communities. Yeah, hope that answers your question.
Sorry, just to add on, so the university mentors are mainly help the mentees through the first phase, which is the self-discovery phase. Then in the second phase, when they're interested to find out more about like actual career industries or maybe internships they want to secure or scholarships, then that's when we have to source for people from those specific places. So for those secondary mentors, they can be working professionals as well as people who come from our partner organizations.
Yeah. And while this is our first mentorship program targeted towards ECG, this is really not our first experience organizing mentor and menteeship programs. Actually, in the past, we've organized academic mentor-mentee programs on really a large scale. So basically, we have collaborated with Consultation Corner, and basically we've reached out to 200 plus mentor and mentee pairs for academic mentor and mentorship program. Yep.
Thanks.
How would you measure success of this particular project?
So we use 2 main metrics. The first metric is with the mentors and mentees that are already with us. After they do each mentorship session, we get them to fill an end of session form, which is basically a form where quantitatively they rate their session on a scale of 1 to 5. So that was the more than 4.5 statistic that we flashed earlier. And qualitatively, we also get them to recap what they actually covered during the session and what are the next steps that they plan to take. So in doing that, we are actually able to track the progress of each individual mentee and mentor pair. And so far, most of them have been making progress as per our plan for their timeline. And then on a wider scale, another measure of success would be the uptake, right? So for our initial pilot, the interest that we got actually exceeded the number of people that we wanted to bring on. And we hope that this statistic will similarly keep increasing as we improve our publicity efforts and target more mentee and mentor pairs as well in the future.
How do you charge for this service?
No, so SGExams keeps their services totally free for all students.
Just to clarify for our financial model as well. So we are non-profit and really we are primarily volunteer run. Yep. So when we say that we intend to spend on training and development for mentor and mentees, we intend to rely on, say, external vendors to do so. So we basically run on a volunteer basis. Yeah.
So the training of the mentors will also be done by volunteers?
Yeah. So in that sense, we are currently discussing with Mentorship Alliance Singapore to really get external vendors to help train our mentor and mentees. But besides that, we also recognize certain courses that with certain career guidance courses, they would like some of our mentors to go through. And then subsequently, we are aware that these courses tend to be quite expensive. So we intend to have a small number of mentors go through it and then transfer that to basically programs organization within the future batches of mentor and mentees.
So is that where the grants will go?
Yes, partially.
It's very impressive. SGExams is Singapore's largest online student community, 100,000 subscribers. And there's a lot of established actions that the group does. My question is, How did the team choose to prioritize mentorship out of all those other options that you had?
We realized that, so impact, I guess, can be measured in terms of breadth and depth, right? And while the programs that we already organize have a wide breadth of impact in that, let's say the content that we produce or webinars that we run often have a large audience, it's hard to personalize that impact for each individual member, especially those who, especially given that all students have their own unique needs and interests. So given that we've already covered breadth, we now want to target depth and we find that mentorship is the best way to offer personalized help to each individual student.
Just two quick questions. On mentors selection, how would you ensure that they are properly screened and they are all individuals of good character? That's one. On second more frivolous question is, would you stick to this branding SGExams with a very clear and large focus on examinations to be your long-term branding in the future?
Okay, so I'll take this question. So SGExams, we started as a subreddit back in 2017. So because how Reddit works, we're actually unable to change the name of our community. So we actually decided that to stick with the name so that we can keep our Reddit, which is our biggest community, running alongside our other programs. But this does not mean that our Reddit is our key focus. Yeah.
Yes, and the second part of your question was how we screen mentors when we select them.
So we are actually a non-profit, right? But we are actually under Registrar of Society. So actually we do have an overarching so-called brand that we register as Society of Student Affairs. So that name sounds a lot more generic. And if in the future, if the need arises, we can always pivot to that. But for now, we just want to emphasize that this is like the brand that we have carried for us for the past few years. And this is almost sort of like a household name amongst I think students. I think most of the students here might have already heard of us through our subreddit. So this has really become our brand, which is why for now, I think we'll be choosing to stick with this.
Yes, and to answer the second part of your question on mentor selection, so it's a two-stage process. The first stage is we don't just let mentors check a box and then join our program. So we have a form where basically they have to send us information about themselves, a resume, their existing social media links, especially LinkedIn. And from there, we do a first round of vetting to make sure that our mentors are actually qualified to offer education and career guidance advice. Then before the session actually starts, we have another onboarding session where all the mentors attend. And from there, when we informally train them as well as speak to them in person, or rather over Zoom, is that still in person? We can get a better sensing of who they are as people as well.
Yep. Just to add on, one other way that we do so is through partnerships. So basically, for instance, during our pilot run, we actually, one of our closest partners was the mentoring circle. So basically the extracurricular club within SMU. And basically the people within that club are really quite experienced in terms of mentorship, or they've been mentees in the past. So they'll be really well equipped with the skills that are required in order to be a good mentor for the people, the JC students. But that being said, we also realized that mentorship, as a mentor, mentors are also constantly growing and developing. So in that sense, that's why I've placed a premium also on the mentoring of the mentors themselves, which is something that we hope to further expedite using the funding required. Yep. Thank you.
Just want to add on that.
Sorry, I'm going to have to cut the session short already. Maybe one quick last comment from you. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Okay, so I just wanted to add on, right? Even with all these screening processes, I think it's quite natural that not everyone will stay on the program. So actually, in our pilot program so far, we actually had a few dropouts. So one of them was one mentor being unresponsive, another mentee deciding that they didn't want to do business because that's the focus of our program. So things like this, we are able to adapt on the fly. And in the case of the unresponsive mentor, that's where we will make use of our partnerships to actually assign them another mentor. So that's what we are doing right now for that mentee. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, SGExams, and thank you, judges, for that. Round of applause, please.